thank you so much for doing this. I really
Of
appreciate
course.
it.
Yeah, thanks for having me on.
Yeah, no, of course. Okay, so I guess the discussion of today is those blue chip picks. Now,
Yeah, man.
the reason I asked you is I saw you had put a post out and you had this blue chip pick that had been like completely like destroyed over. I think it said
Yeah.
3 years, right?
Yeah, let me find it. I still have it.
Okay, you
But
do.
yeah.
Okay, great.
Had it for like 3 years. Yeah, here it is. My old blue chip.
Jeez, there you go. And so, and what number is that?
This is the TP48.
Okay, so that's nice and
like-
rounded. So this is a brand new TP48. Here you go.
Yeah. Well, I also have a brand new one with me as well.
Nice. Did you get it engraved or
No, I
no?
just
Save the $5.
expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah, save the $5.
I went ahead and I put the F and F on that.
Oh,
for
that's
frets and
great.
Fingers. But yeah, so I guess we'll get right into it. So, why did you start using the blue chip picks, and like how did you hear about them? I guess would be like the first part, but like why'd you start using them as well?
I heard about them from a mandolin player actually called Chris Thiele.
Okay.
He had his own line of it's called the CT on the blue chip picks, and I saw that my friend who's a mandolin player was using them, and I saw that everyone who does anything in the bluegrass world is doing them. But I made a deal with myself that I can't buy one until I could play at a certain level.
Okay.
So like because I really hate the idea of buying gear to like think that it's going to improve you.
Right.
I like the idea of having gear to accentuate what you're already able to do. So once I could play the specific solo or break, I said, screw it, I'm going to buy it. And I actually, I messaged Chris Eldridge on Instagram, and he got back to me. And
really?
I said, yeah. I said, what kind of pick are you using right now? And he told me he's using the TP48, which is actually, it's kind of like a spoken mouth thing in the community because I think I first started with like the classic teardrop, like I forget what it is, like the triangle pick.
Right.
The regular looking
Like the
pick.
regular, yeah.
Yeah. I started with that, but then I saw that he was playing the TP48, and I heard that he got the idea from Brian Sutton, who's been also a bluegrass guitar player who plays the TP48. And now if you go in 2023, if you go to the premier guitar thing of Billy Strings, you see he has about 12 of them TP48s. So it's for some reason everyone's just playing that specific model now.
Right. Yeah. So it's actually funny. I watched there was like a rig rundown of Billy Strings, and he goes through like the string sizes, and then he was talking about the blue chip TP48. So when I saw your picture, I'm like, okay, so is this like it must be a bluegrass thing because you're primarily bluegrass at this point, right?
Well, yeah. Besides, like my work with Red Fox, which is much more like indie folk,
right? But you're kind of pretty focused on like becoming a like sick bluegrass player, I'm assuming.
Yeah. Well, my chops to keep my chops up, it's bluegrass. It's my technical work.
Yeah, it's another
everyone.
Bluegrass is another level. Like I've just kind of gotten into it in the last 6 months, and I feel like a lot of new players are kind of getting into, new bluegrass players are getting into it through Billy Strings, but also like once you get in there, once you get into the bluegrass realm, there's a lot of other players that you're like, oh, okay, some of these guys can they can play.
Yeah.
It's not just Billy Strings. Like they're what's his name? Trey Hanley. I forget what his
Trey
name.
Hanley.
Yeah, he can play. Anyways, not to get off topic, but
yeah, sure. One of my favorites is Tony Rice too.
Tony Rice,
know. Yeah.
I've heard some of these names in interviews with Billy Strings. Billy Strings is the one I kind of got. Like I used to play a lot of finger picking.
Okay, cool.
And that was kind of my main thing, but now I'm starting to really enjoy the bluegrass. But like, man, I cannot pick to save my life.
Hard.
So, well, I used to play like electric and then like finger picking for 3-4 years. Not picking up a pick. Now it's a whole other thing, and like trying to figure out how to like hold the pick properly. There's like the lessons with Marcel or something.
Yeah,
he'd show me you're supposed to like trigger finger.
Yeah, the trigger finger.
Yeah, so I don't know. I guess I'll ask you. So I actually kind of respect you for like saying you would get better before purchasing yourself like this expensive pick. So I was on Amazon and I picked up these. There's like 3 of them. They're just these Jim Dunlop, and they're triangle style. They're a little bit smaller, but you know what? Like to start out, I tried those because like to get a feel for it. And once I started using it, I was like, hey, I really want to buy this blue chip pick and see what is going on. And it's a lot different, man. Like the blue chip, like the feel, everything. Just I don't know for you, if it's your favorite pick or.
Yeah, it's 100% my favorite pick, but I'm not, like, I also have this other type of pick that you're talking about, the Dunlop. I have this, it's called a wagon. I think it's like 120B or something. Anyways, I got something that was like as close as possible to my blue chip, because when I first got this brand new blue chip, because this one was wearing down, I immediately lost it at a pub gig I was playing. And I'm like, really? I had this other one for 3 years and I lose this new one in a week?
Right.
So I bought these wagons for like pub gigs because I'm like, I don't want to lose anymore. And it ended up turning up again. So this is the same pick. Okay. Like a week later on the floor of this pub, I found my blue chip.
All right.
And I was like calling the bar owner. I'm like, did you find a pick? And they're like, who cares, man? And I'm like, no, trust me, like you need to look for this pick. But he did find it, and so I have my blue chip. So I use my blue chip there it goes. I use my blue chip when I'm practicing all the time, and when I'm playing bluegrass gigs for sure. And if it's a quiet enough solo show, I'll use it. But if I'm on like a stage at a pub on a Saturday night that's really busy, I'll usually go for my wagon pick. This black one here, yeah.
And you don't find that you have too much trouble like alternating between?
No, it's like I was saying at the beginning, is like you can't let the gear make your playing good or bad. It's just supposed to help with tone and stuff. But I should be able to pick up any pick and play the same stuff, or else, well, what am I even doing?
Right,
you know?
Fair enough. I guess for the viewers, you're a full-time musician, right?
Yeah.
At this point, yes. Okay, so Jono is a full-time musician.
Yeah. So I play pub gigs a lot, and I go on tour with Red Fox a lot, and now I'm doing this lesson thing on Patreon and in person. Yeah.
Well, I guess this would be a good time. You can if you want to shout that out a bit, because I think it's pretty cool what you're doing, and the videos I've seen, that like the editing's actually well done, and I like that you're putting up those tabs on the screen, and it's I don't know, and you're really good at explaining what you're talking about. So anyways, you can go into it a little bit if you want.
Yeah, so my lesson program was inspired by David Benedict, the mandolin player, and I just saw he's a professional musician. I saw he just is giving back to the community the way all the stuff he's learned, and I'm like, why not do that? Like, because everyone on YouTube is just like, they're teaching you how to play Stairway to Heaven and all that. I'm like, there needs to be more for this community to showing you how to do this kind of stuff. So I've been taking lessons with Chris Eldridge online, and I inspired my Patreon like basically off of that. Like I have it broken down, so I work on a song every month and I break it down every week. I'm doing a different technique on that particular song, because I find people often learn a song and then throw it away, but there's so much to dissect out of a single piece of like music that you can learn technique wise. And I really don't think you understand a song until you can play it in like 2 different keys at least, and like break it down. So so that's kind of what I teach. My course is called Lessons, so it's like patreon.com/lessons with Jono. So you can sign up. It's 7-day free trial, and after that it's like $20 a month.
Okay, awesome. And they can find that link on your Instagram, Facebook,
on my Instagram.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
And of course, I'll link all that in the video, of course.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, no problem. But yes, okay. I guess so. We'll keep going.
Sure.
In your opinion, because it is about $70 Canadian by the time it's to your door. Like, do you find it's worth it for the blue chip pick?
Oh, absolutely. Because here's the mentality I have about the pick: is a lot of people say it's like ridiculous that you have this pick, and I just think those people don't know how to take care of their equipment. Because if you look at a fiddle player, they spend just as much, if not more, or at least half the price on their bows. And their bows are what makes half the sound. And so why wouldn't you do that with your guitar, especially with an acoustic guitar? Because an electric guitar, I look at electric guitar like it's a blank canvas. You have like your humbucker, that's that, and you add the tone from the amps and all the effects, and you spend a bunch of money on amps. But with an acoustic guitar, that's it. It's a piece of wood with strings on it. And so why wouldn't you put the best thing you can against those strings to amplify that or accentuate the instrument? It just doesn't make sense to me. And that's my argument anytime someone says I'm spending. And I had this one for 3 years, so I've probably spent less money than most people do on their 25-cent picks. So that's my argument.
That's a good way to put it. I've never really heard it that way. I respect that. And I guess that was my next question, but I guess it's kind of covered. I was going to ask you how you had a pick for 3 years without losing it, but I guess if you
I keep it
make
in
sure
this
you're always
thing.
putting it in your wallet, or you got a little.
No, I have a thing.
Is that from Blue Chip? That's the.
That's from Blue Chip. I used to have just like a regular red one, but so it doesn't matter. But I get all my students in person. I get them one of these, and I just give them a cheap pick, and I say like, if you can keep this for a year, like I like to keep that mentality of like you should take care of this thing no matter what it is. I don't like people who just throw away all their stuff. Anyways, not to go too much off track, but I also have this Elliott capo here, which is another fancy piece of equipment that I also said I have to learn this tune. In that tune, it was Church Street Blues, but the Tony Rice version of Norman Blake's tune. And I said I'm not allowing myself to buy this fancy Elliott capo until I can play that tune. And then I learned it and I got one. But anyways, so I keep
the Elliott capo. What's the benefits to that over like your standard just clip on?
So I have several capos here. So this is the one I was using before. It's the G7, and then the one before that I had was like the Dunlop, the classic
standard. Yeah.
But the reason I like this is because it's like an egg yolk shape, they called it, or a yolk shape, and basically attaches to the back of the neck, and you can apply even pressure. So it's all about like when you can put it on, it stays in tune right away,
nice.
Which is really helpful with Red Fox because it's really helpful with Red Fox because I play in different tunings all the time. So I'm always changing to open G or open D. And so when I do that and put my capo on, now I don't have to tune again. Normally I would have to tune it to that tuning, put the capo on and then tune again. Right. But now I can trust the Elliott is going to be in tune. So I love it for that reason.
That's cool. Okay. That's actually, I saw your video on the Marcus Mumford strumming the other day, and it's funny, like when I learned Little Lineman in like the open, I think it's open C, right?
Yeah,
that
open C. Yeah.
And anytime I put the capo on, I was like, all right, let me adjust a couple of these strings now. So
exactly.
And how much was one of those go for? Do you know?
So this is like the fanciest you can get. These are like $300 because they're made in
what?
They're made in Texas. Yeah, they're handmade in Texas.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right. So I can see why you waited to get yourself on.
I waited a year at least before I got it. But you should look into them, not necessarily to buy, but just to see. It's the similar mentality of like it's almost like a piece of jewelry. You wear a watch,
right?
And it's kind of just a rite of passage. But it doesn't really do much more than this.
Right. No, that's really cool. I did not know there was a $300 capo out there. So there you go.
But yeah, so I keep that in a leather pouch here, and then I keep my picks inside that. So I carry this everywhere in my guitar case.
So you're ready to go.
Yep. And after every show, I put it away, and I've just taken care of it.
That's awesome. That's good. I feel like most picks, I always just kind of like play around with since I've been using this one. I've been using it since I've been back from Korea, so it's been almost a month. And like every time I like go to put it down, I'm like, no, I go put it back in the same spot.
Exactly. Yeah. It's tricky. That's great.
Yeah. I started learning that Affair to Partly Cloudy.
Yeah.
And I can't say it's anywhere close to where you have it, but I'm excited with where I'm getting with it. So
that's great. So
one day at a time.
Like the cross picking thing at the very beginning. How do you pick that? Do you do that down up, down up, down up, or do you do it?
So I don't know if it's the right way, but on all my on beats, like the 1 and 2, 3, I'm always strumming down, and then on the ands, I'm always going up. I don't know if that's the correct way.
No, that is the correct way. Yeah.
Okay. Because I was learning this other Billy Strings song, like for the last 6 months, I've been learning it, and I realized I wasn't holding my pick properly. And then seeing that lessons with Marcel, just that little bit of how to hold your pick properly. Now I have to like relearn the whole song. I had the song almost up to speed, and now it's like I'm back at square one. But you know what? I'd prefer to get this out of the way now. I feel like I'm starting to feel how this strumming's supposed to feel. So anyways, whatever.
No, when I was younger in high school, playing like Mumford and Sons and stuff, I used to hold my pick with 2 fingers like that.
Oh yeah.
And, yeah, it was terrible. But now I do it the proper way.
That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you know what? So I guess to answer your question about the start of that, I'm trying to hit every note. But so what would you recommend for the start of that song?
Well, no, because what's particular about that is because it's the beginning of it is like cross picking, so it's like it's 3 notes that repeat. So the first time it'll be like down, up, down, up, down, up. So like, so if I were to keep going on that cross picking roll, it would be like down, up, down, up, down. Wait, yeah, down, up, up, and it repeats that. So
right.
So that's what he's doing there. He just, and then he does it backwards. Anyways, yeah.
That whole part, like the first like 3 seconds or 4 seconds of that song, man, are just,
it's crazy.
All those notes hit right, eh? Like,
yeah, it's great. Yeah.
No, that's and I guess I'll ask you since we're doing a full like rig rundown here. But
sure.
So what size strings? Like what gauge are your strings?
I use 13s.
You use 13s, eh? Okay.
Yeah. I like 13s, but I use nickel bronze. So I use Diodario, but you'll see here they're all silver looking. They're not, and they're
Are they coated?
No, they're not. They're not coated.
Interesting. Why do you go with the uncoated ones?
Because I hate the sound of the. So I
really?
prefer the sound of dead strings. So I haven't changed these in like a month or 2. So.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, because I got myself some Didarios on. I watched that Billy Strings video. I'm like, I'm going to get my setup because I always had 12s, and then he said he uses 13s, and I was like, okay, I'm going to try these 13s. Maybe it's the bluegrass way.
Mm-hmm.
Man, my fingers, it took a little bit of like.
Yeah.
I feel like I didn't have as much control of like, I guess just the sound of the guitar going in and out. But anyways, I guess for you, so you don't coat them.
No,
and I don't know.
He does.
You don't find they
yeah.
don't. Yeah, but for yours, so you not find it like it sticks when you're going up and down the neck of it?
It sticks a little bit, yeah. But
I guess you're used to it.
So it's the whole thing I was saying about just because the coated string sounds like the strings, whereas I want it to sound like the guitar as much as possible. So that's why I use uncoated strings, and that's why I let them die usually. But especially the nickel bronze versus like the phosphor bronze, which I also use. I go back and forth, but the nickel bronze is much more just the sound of the guitar, not like crazy overtones of the strings. So if I could recommend any, I would recommend the nickel bronze or like the Diodario phosphor bronze, but uncoated, I think.
Uncoated? Okay, so
Yeah.
I'm just going to make a lot of notes. I have a pair of Diodario here that I purchased. Oh, did I leave them in my... Never mind, I left them in my bag. I'm an elixir kind of guy.
You're an elixir guy. I used to be an elixir guy.
I remember paying like $14 when I was a kid for elixirs, and it was like very expensive. And now they're like a lot more than that.
Are they?
I feel like they're up like somewhere around like $25 or something.
Oh,
now.
really? Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the nickel bronze are like $14, and then the other ones I'm talking about, the little red package of the Diodarios, they're only like $9.
Right.
I think, yeah.
Yeah, no, yeah, I got 3 packs of the Diodarios on Amazon for $30. I was like, this has to be like a scam, but like it wasn't, and then they played fine. So
yeah, no, I love those strings.
Yeah. So
and yeah, I use that. I like it to sound like that, and yeah, like my pickup. I don't know if you want to do the full rig rundown or whatever. Do you care about the pick?
You put that in? You put that in yourself, I guess, eh?
Oh no, I have a luthier that does. Installs it for me. Yeah, so I don't know if you know the K&K pickup. It goes under the saddle.
Okay.
It's like a sound. It's like 3 little plates that stick to thing. It's not like the one under the bridge. I don't like the sound of that one, the piezo or whatever.
Oh, see, that's what I thought you were talking. Okay, so yours is okay. Never mind.
It's under. Yeah. It's on the soundboard. And then, so I had that for the longest time, and then I recently just installed this dual system with the microphone. So I plug a cable in that has two signals, like a stereo cable, and it sends both the pickup and the microphone. So it's great. I don't have to decide between one or the other.
Gives you both at the same time. That's
yeah,
okay,
you
very
blend
cool.
it. And then the sound guy can be like, oh, it's feeding back, I'll just cut the microphone. You know, it's no big deal. Yeah, I love it.
Okay, interesting. And what was the goal for you on that? Like, where did you learn about that style of pickup? Like, what made you want to get that?
Oh, that's also a bluegrass thing.
It is a bluegrass, Okay.
Yeah, they're all trying to make their guitar sound as much like their guitar as possible. Whereas, you know, in some communities, they don't really care. It's just like, because we like to play in front of a mic if possible, one microphone if we can, you know, like the whole band around one mic. That's the best thing, and then you mix it all yourself.
Right.
So yeah, we're kind of particular about that because it's the instrument we want to hear, not the electronics.
But yeah, I really appreciate you taking the time to come on here and give me your 2 cents about the blue chip picks, and I guess a little bit more about the whole bluegrass world.
Yeah.
There's a lot more to it than I thought, I guess.
Yeah, man. Well, I really appreciate you having me on. I really like what you're doing with your channel there, and I think the more people you can introduce to this kind of stuff, and I guess the point I'm really trying to get across is like, don't go buying a pick thinking that it's going to make you a better player, because it won't.
Right. 100%. No, that's I think that's good advice for anybody.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I really appreciate you having me on. It's always great.